Socios, this is producer Martin here. Welcome to another big interview, this time with the great Robert Snodgrass. Why are you hearing from me and not from the man himself, Graham Hunter? Well, Graham has been travelling for the past 48 hours and has been unable to record his intros, so we thought we would just do it ourselves and get the episode out to you as soon as possible. What can I tell you about this interview? Well, I was in the room for it. We recorded it on Friday the 14th of February at Canary Wharf, and Snoddy is just brilliant from start to finish, talking about his origins, growing up in the Gallowgate area of Glasgow, through Livingston to Leeds to West Ham to Scotland. There is some really funny moments where he talks about prank calls. I hope you enjoyed the video that we sent you yesterday. We're going to do much more of that. We're now videoing every big interview we record, and we're going to try and get you as much exclusive videos as possible. So in the meantime, here is the big interview with Robert Snodgrass. Enjoy.
We're high in the sky, high on emotion, high on the fun of bringing you the big interview with Robert Snodgrass. It's Snods to people, it seems to be.
Everything, wind up, prankster, everything. There's just loads.
Thank you for introducing that theme.
Aye.
It shouldn't be now, because this is a football interview and it's about your beautiful life, your character. We're going to have to talk about prank calls.
Yeah, you need to.
Frank McAvenny sent us a question. Okay, so if we have to talk about Frank,
not a problem.
First it'll be the football, and then it'll be the prank calls. Okay, aye. Okay, good. Where are we right now? Describe, because this is an audio series. Where are we?
Canary Wharf, in between where the training ground West Ham and the centre of London.
You look out and you see the Thames. You see buildings stretching left, right, and centre. To me, the Thames and one of your teammates had to suffer me banging on about this until he admitted that he used to pinch big rubber tyres, Mark Noble, and go out and fish in the Thames or just float along the Thames with his feet in the river. Yes, and that was his chat.
Loves fishing.
And the Thames, is it not the most beautiful, most outrageous river in the whole wide world? If you think about all the history that's happened on that river, as we look out on it, I think we're in a really special place right now.
Just got similarities to the Glasgow Clyde right now, Gallowgate Docklands right now. So it's the exact same view.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. Is it a good left foot that gets you from the Gallowgate to here?
I've said this many times. Sometimes I've been having bad games, or not really been in the game, and it might be sort of get back to your days of just kicking the ball off the wall, hitting targets, then it gets bigger targets, then it's like moving, and then you start to get sort of coached and different things, and then people can see that you can play. But one thing, my old man overplayed that much with his weaker foot that he became right-footed, do you know what I mean? So
having initially been like you, outstanding left, he worked so hard that his right became his stronger.
So your old man end up, he kind of teaches you along the way to try and do that. But listen, I always had in my head, I was saying, Dad, listen, I'll be honest with you, I trust my left foot, do you know what I mean? I trust it, so I want to use it. That's what's got me the assists, that's what's got me the goals, and over the years, that's what's probably dug me a few holes, as we'd say, sort of having a bad game, and I get one chance, and the next thing you know, it's an assist or a goal. And I firmly believe everywhere I've been, I've done that. So if you want to put it down to sort of having a left foot or having the brain to try and do it, then so be it.
That's what I was probing for, because it's been a long, successful journey. Now, we get listeners from all over the world. In this series, we've had about 14 million listens overall. Very few of them will have grown up in the Gallowgate. Very few of them will know about Barlands or the Barras. Or can you evoke it? Can you describe where you grew up, where you were born, what it was like, to the extent that people can imagine it or feel that they're there?
I'll try my very best, but honestly, until you're from there, you won't realise what actually goes on. It was a very, very hard upbringing. Until I listened to the great comedian Kevin Bridges, he says it get voted the most friendliest place in Europe, but the biggest crime rate, and he says it's the only place in the world where they stab you then give you directions to the hospital. I thought, do you know what? That's exactly it. Obviously it goes back deeper, and the gangs all over Glasgow, and I know it sounds a bit cheesy here, but when I was growing up, you could see lads, when a ball came out, it was weird. It was as if it just stopped, you know what I mean? And it was like, no, it's football and this is it. And they'll put the rivalry back, or fighting and all this stuff.
Just a wee bubble of...
Yeah, we'll do it after. So for me, it was the sort of the toughest place. There was sort of no doors, and the building, as you're walking into the block of 4 where I lived, your window goes in for kids playing football in the street, which we've done many times. There's a bit of wood on it, it's not replaced. Rough upbringing, which was in your area, was surrounded by other areas that was involved in the exact same thing. I was for the East End of Glasgow. I'm proud to be for there. It's what's made me the person I am, and everybody speaks about an education, a streetwise. And the streetwise education has probably got me to where I am just now. And this is probably why I'm here talking to you just now.
In a good family like you had, in an area where there's proper diamond people, proper people, but it's bumpy because some people don't know better, or there's gangs, and there's allegiances, or there's religion, between parts of the East End that differs. And when did you find something out for yourself that taught you that you were going to make it through that, or that you were strong, or when did you first become streetwise?
It's quite hard to sort of answer, because I felt as if there was that many, to be honest with you. I felt there was loads. I felt as if there was so many times where I could have went drinking with my mates in the street. I chose football. I'm sort of not ashamed to say it. My dad was a recovering alcoholic. He grew up sort of in the streets, and the way sort of he's turned everything round for sort of my family, and he showed me the pathway that wasn't. And to be honest, the best thing for me was realising when I went in to full-time football when I went into Livingston, because I thought, to be a footballer you cannot touch a drop of alcohol, you can't do anything. Obviously you go in and the lads are going out at the weekend and different things, and then you have a few drinks and you realise pressure's off us, isn't it? What it is, it's you can sort of enjoy yourself from time to time, and I think the biggest thing, to be honest with you, is doing it at the right times. I thought playing football was just, everybody dreamed of sort of playing the big stadiums, and it's and the first thing I say is, I want to try and get my mum and dad a house. That was it. It wasn't I want to get my car or any different things like that. It was not like that, because we didn't know any different. We never knew anything. It was just, that was what it was.
That was an ambition when you were a kid?
That was an ambition when I was a kid, because I grew up in a family where we weren't blessed with sort of saying that you had money to do this or that. It was, if it was my brother working, then he would help out. My sister was a massive help on sort of getting football boots or clothing or different things we needed. We never had any travel. Nobody in the family had a car or drove anything. So if I was getting anywhere, it was taxis or buses, as sort of the older I got, to go into clubs and stuff. And then players that I played with, mums and dads that you probably know, James MacArthur, Graham Dorns, his family, and their mum and dads were a massive help for me. So good. And the coaches, the local guys all round, just noticing that, listen, there's probably a little diamond in the rough here, and maybe he could do something himself. But nobody ever thought at that point, to be honest with you, that you're going to go and try and play at any sort of level.
I interpret it as been a mix of, exactly going back to what you talked about, not just the East End of Glasgow, but lots of parts of Scotland, whereby we can be a bit rough, we can be caustic, we can be downright bad, but there is an instinct that seems to be in our blood, because I'm not sure it actually gets taught about if you can do somebody a good turn. If you think they're all right, you go out of your way to do them a good turn. So these people that you've mentioned, their parents or coaches or whatever, they saw a talent in you, but presumably they were reaching out to help you or guide you or drive you or do something. Yeah. Just out of goodness too.
Yeah, of course. It was all goodness, because it was like they knew that this boy can play, and he's close to my son, and he's a nice lad. I'd always sort of be a sort of lovable rogue, where it was like you're always up to mischievous stuff and always this and that. But I'll be honest with you, I was brought up in a family. I never had one single bad bone in my body. I couldn't be bad to anybody. I was just sort of a loyal family who would do anything for you. That's where we're from, the streets. They would always let you away with just a little bit more, because you just know you just loved having a laugh and loved having fun, and that was what it was about for me.
What did you get up to?
The type of things where when obviously went in, like boys club, we would go in. We had a trip to Blackpool, and the lads are they're scared to maybe do something with the coach, and I've got a big bucket of water, I'll chap his door, run away, and it goes in. Now soaking him, and I'm talking about I'm probably about 11-year-old at this point, 10-year-old, and he's thinking, how's he even learned that? Do you know what I mean? So just small things like that, where it's like, just having the brass and the audacity to kind of go and do it, do you know what I mean? I think you then take it in the part way to say, let's do it, do you know what I mean?
So like that idea about having a little bit of anarchy, a little bit of fun, a little bit of a laugh.
Of course.
So, for example, I might translate how many times you might want to not make a player in a Premier League game, for example.
Listen, see that side of the game. That is one thing. When I was growing up, it was great. Let's be honest, everybody wanted to do that. As I went in full time, I think it was Stuart Lovell who was my captain. proper great guy, you know. And we had a centre half who was I think he was at Real Madrid B. His name was Oscar Rubio, and I think I put it through his legs, and I'm not winding you up. Can you hear Graham? I swear to God. The ball went into my feet, and I was playing like number 10 or something training, and they'd heard, this young Gallus boy for Glasgow's coming up. And he must have put me about 18 feet up in the air, Stuart Lovell. He absolutely caned him, and he was like, "What are you doing?" He's just, and he went like, no, he's up with the big boys now. He's got to learn like the big boys. And I thought, do you know what? Since then, I thought, like, you're right, do you know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, it didn't stop me, to be honest, because I thought, right, well, I've got to try and get that respect somehow, do you know what I mean? And try and, but as time goes on, they realise, you're not a cocky or a bad lad, you know, it's just the way you are.
It's in your nature. What's it like when you play on a Premier League surface? Say, pick your favourite Premier League surface. Which one would it be? What does it feel like underfoot? What does it look like? What does it smell like? Because the surface matters to you, right? A player of your ability.
Yeah, of course. Everybody does. And I think that the first time I played at the Emirates, I think there was like every sort of one of four that had the touch of Astro. Now the AstroTurf in it, do you know what I mean? It made it smooth, and that pitch for me was perfection. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, no excuses. There's no divots, none of this. And that was a special feeling, and it was like, both sets of sides playing, and it was great. It was very, very good. Because we trained on AstroTurf at Livingston for 4 or 5 years. That was your training pitch, so. There's a lot of talk in Scotland just now about they're trying to get a petition to get it out. Basically, we trained on that every day, so boys were getting injured on the regs with it. But it was, I think, just having any pitch. We grew up in Red Ash.
Well, tell us about because that's the contrast.
Red
the
Ash.
Journey's big, so we know what Red Ash is. Explain it to the listeners.
Red Ash, like the red gravel. It's like grit. It's what you put at the side of the road. Sometimes, you know what I mean. We're playing on that, and. Is it better when it's summer and it'll just you slide for 20 feet, or in winter where it'll actually rip you down to the bone because it's that hard? Which kind of pain do you prefer on the winter? It's like 3rd degree burns every slide tackle you're making. So to be honest, it's tough because my brother used to get down. My brother's a videographer. He's always in his camera and different things, and he's doing really well with that. And from an early age, he was always videoing the games to show my old dear and stuff, And he's got some games where I must have been about 5'5" or something, 5'6" for a sort of early age. I'm just pushing kids out the way, and it was as if like he's a ringer. Do you know what I mean? He is a ringer, and I was that size. I was sort of bigger, and just going through and scoring, and do you know what I mean? And it was. Listen, it was brilliant, do you know what I mean? I remember the very first game I played, it was like a competitive game, you know what I mean, for sort of playing with your mates. Sitting in school and the teacher came, he says, "Robert, listen, you've been called to the PE, whatever, St Anne's, down the Gallowgate," and I says, "Yep, no problem." Went down, I'm in primary 3. I was the youngest ever P3 to play at primary 7 level. But it was a rivalry game. It's St Anne's v St Michael's. The teacher says, "Listen, have you got any football boots?" I went, "No." He went, "Have you any shin guards?" I went, "No." And he went, "Well, listen, we need a player. Let to play. I heard you can play. Somebody's been saying you can play." You know what I mean? And I thought, this is it. This is the chance. So I've played in my trainers on the Red Ash. Away we go. We won 4-2 against St Michael's, scored 2, and I just felt at that point, I thought, this is what I want to do, do you know what I mean? This is exactly it. And then you sort of go through the gears, and that school coach was the one who remained with me all the way through the journey, He was the one that used to drive me through, and
brilliant.
He was the one that used to do everything. And
game dies without people like him.
Yeah,
do you want to name him?
Colin Syme, yeah, Colin Syme.
I think he should be named.
He should be named. I've spoken about him in several times, and he was the guy that took me as far as he could take me, but he stayed the full journey. Do you know what I mean? And it's just stuff like that you appreciate. He's close with my mum and dad, and do you know what I mean? Just brilliant. Class.
You've also told us if that was you playing against guys who were 4 years older than you, and they couldn't have enjoyed the experience of losing to a P3. It's barely even credible when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
Didn't you construct a pitch of your own with your brothers?
Yeah, that's true. Me and my 2 brothers. I think growing up in the Gallowgate, there wasn't. The only thing we had was Crown Point, which is it's a pay.
Yeah,
you need to pay to get on and different things.
A sort of local council service where there's maybe football pitches, and I don't know if there's other types of pitches.
There's a running track, there's a five-a-side part, there's loads of different things. We used to play our home games there for Calton, and that's where, for me, I was like, let's go, man, out we go. Built the football park, me and my brothers, and it was like...
What, in scrubland or what?
No, just grass out the back on the hills. Away we go. Build some 2x2s, 4x4s, some netting. We cut off the scaffold that they were building, something down, and it was like green netting, and it was perfect.
When it's made, it feels like heaven. When you're young and you've got an actual goal and a net.
90% of fights growing up in Glasgow was the jumpers. No, that was a goal. No, it wasn't. It was over his sleeve. No, it wasn't.
That's too high.
The two jumpers. And I'm thinking, the amount of arguments you had about that. And you see VAR and goal line technology. That. That's exactly what it was.
So never mind Stockley Park, cinema at the Gallowgate. The swagger must have been there, because if you're known in the neighbourhood as the kid that can play, you maybe get a bit of a free pass from... I'm not just talking about the gangs, but look, you can walk tall in the neighbourhood if you can play in Scotland.
I think it helped massively. Everywhere you went, you know, it was always, and there's a, you know, you see the sort of Glasgow people. There's always a Glasgow people are the best at giving you credit but putting you down I've ever seen. Honestly, I swear I've not seen my brothers in months upon months. I walk in the house. Instead of going, how are you, how's the kids? They go, what about that chance you missed in the 65th minute? I swear, so when you're growing up, it's like, oh, I heard you're the little lad who is playing or whatever. Yeah. And then in the same sentence, it's like, you know, a lot of people don't make it for where we're from. Yeah. And it's like, I loved that for me growing up. I loved it. I loved every single thing where somebody's saying to me, you're not good enough, you'll never make it, you can't do this, you can't do that. I just, honestly, I loved it. It drove me forward.
Being pushed down?
Yeah, it drove me forward to say, I'm going to show every single person that you're wrong. I don't care. And listen, see if I never made it. And then I just didn't want to look back and say it'd be any fault of mine.
Where's that come from?
I don't know.
Do you think we've got it more as a nation in Scotland?
No, listen. I genuinely think it's a lot to do with your upbringing. I do. If you've been brought up, and no disrespect, if you've been brought up with you're getting money off your family, and you know you don't need to go out and work or different things, and it's like it's a very difficult mental approach where it's like you need to feed yourself. Do you know what I mean? This is it. Like there's many times where I'd turn around and say to my mum and dad, you know, a couple of lads at school, are, you know, getting money for lunch or different things. She was like, I don't care. Like, we've not got money. I've got brothers and you've got brothers and sisters, and that is what it is. So there's a drive inside. There's an ambition, and there's something in you that's like, listen. All I thought about was just wanting to kick the ball about my friends and different things, and then before you know it, it's just a dream of playing football. It's a dream. Let's be honest. It's no saying I'm going to get there or anything like that. But as people start to tell you, you start to believe, coaches start to tell you, and you then start to think, I must have a chance here, you know, I must have a real chance. And that's all you've got. So say when you see young kids growing up, so many parents are involved, there's different things telling lads about book deals, there's some agents in there in it for sort of the wrongdoings, and I just think, you know, just let the kid play and let everything else just...
There's too many beaks in the trough.
Of course there is.
And then this idea that if somebody's got a special talent, or even if they've got a chance of making it, that should be the number one priority for everybody to push. And then you can argue about the percentages later. There's too many people who don't think like that. You know, we've got socios and we've got sponsors, so we're going to pick one of these questions. On daily, could you ask Snoddy, how good was David Fernandez at Livy? And also, have you ever come close to joining Owen's club Celtic?
First off, I'll start with Fernandez. He was brilliant. He came over and he was so good with the ball. His feet like a close control number 10, where nobody could get off him. As soon as he gets hit, he gets back up. And for every one of us as a young, we used to just admire him. You know, when sort of I was seeing that, I was like a number 10 midfielder coming in off the wing. Like, it was just like, do you know what I mean? It was like, I loved players like that, where I was just like, it's like they give the ball to him because they know he could be the difference, and that sort of respect thing. The players, and they had a trust of him, you know, and I sort of, when I went in, I would be lying to you. So I said I didn't try and replicate a lot of the things that he done, because he was great for for us inspiring to sort of say, this is what it takes to get in there. You know what I mean? It's
and Spaniard living in Scotland, to go there, show your stuff, to say, okay, this is still the same game. Everything around it is so different from where he's brought up.
Do you remember the keeper, Sanchez Brotto? Remember him?
I do, yeah.
Well, he was the first one that came in Scotland where he was doing remember the sidewinder kick that all the keepers do? He was the first I'd ever seen do that in Scotland. And he came to Livingston, and what a keeper. So good, trying to play his kicks and different things, just small details. And then you sort of, as the game sort of develops, you realise what they were probably doing years advanced in Spain is what we're sort of trying to get around to.
He's not 10 players plus a keeper.
Yeah.
In theory, there's 11 players.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever the keeper can do to influence a game or bring his brain, not just his saves, into it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
that's his school.
Yeah. And taking possession boxes all over the park, and if you can use that sort of man as the extra man in this, we obviously strikers try to close you down, and if you use the keeper as much as you can, that's the way the game's. That's exactly the way the game's went now, and I think it's great for the sort of the neutral and everybody. But one of the things I always say is you need to come out for the very start and say this is what we're doing, because as soon as it doesn't go right, you've got the crowd, get it in the mixer. How many times I've had, get it up the park? And
we're
it's
so impatient,
yeah,
we're really impatient.
But listen, if you come out for the very start and say this is what I'm doing, this is the way I'm going to do it, and that's it. You need to bide by me. I think they will.
And the Celtic answer?
Yes, no. Listen, there's been a few times where it could have happened. Listen, I'm not going to deny the fact I'm a sort of boyhood Celtic fan. I've watched them since I was when I was young, and it was a game where if somebody's got a spare ticket outside the ground, they would give you it, and you're in. Do you know what I mean? And that just the roar and everything and supporting, and you know what I mean. It was just it was a special feeling. It's such a great
behind the goal, jungle.
We were everywhere. We were on guys' shoulders and cheering, and sometimes you're doubling up on seats because you're two mates, and you've got into the game, and then they let you in after 45. It's just that feeling, and it was a special sort of feeling, and you get a chance to sort of see what it was all about, And I think one of my first games against them, Celtic were 4-0 up at Almonville, and Chris Sutton knocked me out with an elbow in the first 30 minutes.
Pure accident.
Running by him, and he just went, bosh.
There you go.
Take that. And I was thinking to myself, he's just knocked me out at 4-0. Like, what has he got to gain for that? Like, do you know what I mean? That thing, and it's just like, but there was a ruthless side, you know what I mean? They had Hartson, Sutton, Larson. It was a special team, do you know what I mean?
Is there a wee midfielder? Is he not just about the best players that they've had in the modern era? Moravcik?
Oh, Jesus, he was amazing. I used to take the corners with both feet, and just as if it was just a norm. And you're thinking, what foot does he play with? Do you know what I mean? Just special. Some of the talent I've had over the years has been incredible.
It's quite famous that when you get a chance to the Rangers Boys Club or a Rangers affiliate, you've got a Celtic shorts, and you've got and some kind of mad Celtic top underneath your training gear. What do you call it?
The Bumblebee, remember? The Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Remember?
I do remember, but not fondly, obviously.
Yeah, I understand that.
Bollocks to Celtic, bollocks to Rangers.
Yeah, that is fine.
Two European stars.
Yeah, exactly.
The mighty dandies. But I've heard you plead, so we're retrying this case, is what I'm saying. I've heard you plead that was the only kit you have.
Yeah.
You can't turn up to Rangers training in Celtic shorts and a Celtic Bumblebee top.
I know.
There has to be an element of two fingers to you.
You would say that, but
I did.
You would say that, but I'll be honest with you, I had a plan. Rangers were sponsored by Nike back then. I used to get free kit. I had my shorts. I had my plan. I was thinking, right, these shorts are for my big brother. This one, they're putting their orders in. And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm going to get signed here. But the family needs to be kitted out with some Nike gear. You know what I mean?
Full respect.
So that was it. It was a good time, and it was, Rangers. They just went through where they introduced Murray Park and all that, and they were trying to get the talent through and all that stuff, and they did. Some of the talent that came through there was exceptional. But listen, I took my youth team at Livingston over them and Celtic, because we were beating them all. We had some good players, and Livingston, they gave me a promise. They said to me, I want you in the first team when you're 16, and Dominic Keane and Willie Hawkey involved, and he says, listen, we want you in, and that's what happened.
Yeah, it's sliding door moments when you make a big choice like that, and you say no to Celtic, or you close that door. One of the first times I'd have been conscious of watching you, because I've been away for so long, I didn't really see the Livy dream so much, but I did watch. I've been living in Spain, obviously, I did watch that under-19 championship that you played so successfully in. I want to try and mine your memories of 2006. You'll obviously know that Poland was a country that must have been extremely different for you at that age. There's a 4-0 result against Spain, a 2-2 draw against Portugal, and then a 3-2 win against Turkey to qualify, to go through. A Turkey that I don't know if you noticed him at the time, Arda Turan playing against you. Several things fascinate me. The Poland experience. Archie Gemmill, the coach, one of Scotland's great heroes, a hard man, a demanding man. Yes. I'd love to know what you made of him. And then the third part of it, which I'll remind you of because it's a long question, is that this is what Scotland doesn't do. You know, we lose 4-0 to the group favourite, draw 2-2 with Portugal, then we go out with another draw.
Yeah.
And you win 3-2 against a really good Turkish side.
Yes.
And go through to the semi-final and the final.
Yeah,
it's extraordinary.
Yep.
Poland, what was it like?
It was a different experience. It was one where the lads were just, were delighted to be there. We just had a bunch of young kids who, they had a smile on their face and we were playing for our country. It was a great feeling. And as soon as the first whistle goes and you play against Spain and you think to yourself, Jesus, this is the proper level. This is technical players who want to take the ball. And as you get a bit older, then you realise the way they've been coached, the way they've been taught, and we played probably the way Scotland have played for years with pure heart. And we realised, lads, you can run as much as you possibly want, but you've got to take your hat off. They were incredible.
What was the difference that you
Mata,
on
they
the
had
pitch?
Diego Capel, they had PK, they had
Alberto Bueno.
The boy
Mario Suarez, who played for Atleti.
Niguero, is it? The boy who was at Real Madrid he had the headband. He was very good as well. I think he was number 10.
Okay.
Javi Garcia, I think he went to Man City.
Javi Garcia went to Man City and played in Russia as well. Currently he's still at Real Betis.
Yes, they had a
good big holding, organising midfielder.
Yes, very, very good. They were great, like male models, every one of them were brilliant, and we were just sitting in awe. I was thinking, Jesus.
Did the ball move differently than you're used to? Is that what it was?
It was just the movement. It was everything. The way they played, the way they moved off the ball. We just found it very, very difficult. And you can run as much as you want, but listen, the ball moves quicker than anybody, and that's exactly what they've done. They moved it, but they moved into areas where we just couldn't deal with it. So that was a great introduction into the tournament and saying, right, I think it was the best thing that happened to us because we knew against the next two, against Portugal and Turkey, that we had to be a little bit more cuter and take our chances when they came.
What was it like being coached by Archie? What's Archie like as a guy?
Just, if I had to sum up how you be patriotic towards your country, it was Archie Gemmill. He loved Scotland, a proper top fella, a great man. He let you know what it meant to have that sort of national anthem playing, and what a special feeling. And it was everything that he says it was. That's exactly it. That tingling down your spine is sort of pulling your national jersey on, and it was amazing. And I think he gave us that sort of extra 5% on what it meant to play for Scotland, and I think that's what's seen us through to get in this sort of stage we were at.
He liked you. Tommy Wilson was his assistant.
Yes.
Tommy's over in the States, and I stayed in touch. So I just asked him, and he said Archie loved Robert's attitude. He said he talked about you playing at Livy alongside Graham Dorrans, your mainstay for us, a throwback player who had all the quality but put in a blue-collar, hard-working approach. And it's his approach that from then to now has taken him so far. He said there's a brilliant expression. In that tournament, Robert went head-to-head with some world-class talent as if he belonged. That was one of his strengths. Yeah. That's a great phrase to be said about you. Do you know what?
See, I was going to tell you a story, actually. I think we were 3-1 up, or 3-0. And he took me off in the game, which was fine. He makes subs and all the different things. And it wasn't Archie, it was Tommy. And me and Tommy nearly had a fight. We nearly had a full-blown fight because of how much we cared and how much we were desperate to do something as a country. It doesn't matter what any level. It had been a good while since anybody had done anything, do you know what I mean, to kind of get in there. And we weren't thinking about, it's not the first team, it was Scotland. And we had a full fight because I was like, no, you need to put this one on or whatever. I can't remember who it was, the personnel, but it was like...
You were telling them his job, effectively.
Everybody was. We were all saying that at that point, this is what was needed, and we nearly had a full fight, and at the very end obviously we held on 3-2 and we get through, you know what I mean? And we two hugged it out at the very end. What a good moment, because it was like everything was, you know, the adrenaline and what it meant to get there was a great feeling.
Semi-final on at half-time for the already booked Stephen Fletcher, who missed the final.
Yes.
On at half-time, all the way through to the 89th minute.
Yes, talk to me, tell me.
How did you get booked?
I cannot
Did you know?
I cannot remember, but I remember just looking over and it's shaking his head, and I thought, oh no, I'm missing the final, you know. And we already fought Stephen, who was unbelievable that tournament. Stephen Fletcher was missing the tournament, and I thought, Jesus. And to watch that was a harsh lesson. It was one that I thought, I'm glad it happened so early on in my career, because it was the worst feeling. It was the worst feeling I'd probably experienced up to that moment.
Leeds.
Yes.
You introduced Leeds when we were chatting off mic about the special nature of the club, and allegedly, I don't know if they're still selling Keep Calm and Give It to Snodgrass t-shirts. Do you have one?
No.
And should we just keep calm and give everything to you?
That was
Leeds.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love is I grew up, I'm much older than you, I grew up just doting on Eddie Gray.
Aye.
Just the most magical footballer.
Yeah.
And he'd have been in and around that area of the club at the time that you were there. He praised you highly. He said, you know, when they were naming their team of the decade, he talked about you as not only the best player of this decade, but Leeds' best player since they were relegated from the Premier League in 2004. What was the experience? Why Leeds? What did it feel like when you went there?
First and foremost, I want to tell you how I got there, because it's actually a good story. And I want to tell you, because I want to tell you from my side what I experienced, and it was something that I'd never experienced, and I'd done well. And one of my ex-teammates, a guy called Lee Matthews, who's now my agent, and he runs SMI agency. He was my teammate. I was his first player. He was the best man at my wedding, and he played with Leeds. With Gary Kelly, Ian Hart got some bad injuries. He already had a love for Leeds United, you know. So just by chance, Gary Mack was the manager, Gary McAllister. He phones, he says, listen, he says, Gary Mack's going to give you a phone. I says, Jesus, absolute Scotland legends here. I'm thinking, he's going to phone. I'm thinking, oh, no, all right, no worries. Getting ready for the phone call and all that stuff. He says, listen, he wants to take you down there for a week to see what you're all about. As a person, because there was a lot of talk about, as I said to you, about with the sort of, he came through an era where at Livingston, John Robertson and all the lads who I fell out with. I fell out with all them and had, you know, massive like Barney's with all them and all that stuff, because I wanted to play my way, and then they wanted something else, you know. That's what I'll put it down to. They seen it a different way, and he forced me out on loan at that point. He was like, no, it'd be best for you to go on loan, yes, go on loan. And I was like, okay, no worries, fine. Successful time, got promoted, came back, had a good season. Matt Proctor scored, it was 10-11 goals, 14-15 assists. I'm thinking, Graham Dorns went to West Brom, and this was it. That was a chance to go. Phone rings, Gary Mack. Robert, how you doing? Want to take you down for a week? I says, nope, I'm not coming. I've got a daughter who's very young, and I've got security. I've got MK Dons there who want to offer me the contract. I can't get in for a week, and you're saying, you know, that you know, the contract, it's not there just now. I want you in for a week. I says, I can't do it. And he must have been thinking, he's actually knocking back Leeds United, you know. He's 18-year-old, I think it was at the time. But there was no contract for MK Dons. I've blagged it. I've absolutely blagged it. I thought, let's do it. Let's see what's happening here. I've never told Gary Mack this story, so if you want to tell him. And
we'll put you in touch.
Yeah, and then phone rings after obviously hang up the phone. Di Matteo for MK Dons.
No.
I swear. I'm thinking, two legends the one day. That was enough. Even if I didn't sign, I thought, I've spoke to the two lads there. Brilliant. I'm back up my road to 11. That's brilliant. So he goes, Robert, what do you run the 100 metres in? Because I like my wingers to be fast. I did not know what to say at that point. And the first thing it came to me, there's a track down the Kelton. And I'm thinking, I went, I don't know. I'll go down the track and I'll let you know. I says, I'll give you a shout back. And he must have been thinking, is this guy lining me up here? Do you know what I mean? I went, I don't know what I run the 100 metres in. So I thought, oh Jesus. I went, I've messed things up with him now. You know what I mean? He doesn't know what he run the 100 metres in. I was thinking, nobody had ever said that to me before, because I thought, you know, you got to score goals, or you got to create, or whatever, 100 metres, and I thought, Jesus. And then my agent thought me he'd done that. plans worked. Gary Mack wants to offer you a 4-year deal, and I
Beautiful.
thought, yeah, beauty. Honestly, I couldn't have told him I ran the 100 metres, but I could have told him I ran 200 mile lengths. I ran to Leeds to sign that deal. It was brilliant. He came to me sort of 2 months in, Gary Mack, and listen, I hit the ground running. I was scoring goals and different things, and he says, listen, I want to apologise to you. I says, why? He says, because I listened to other people's perception on what you are as a lad, on where you were probably from, and every single thing you've done since you've come down here, you've been a breath of fresh air. And I didn't have anybody sort of say those words to me, do you know what I mean? And I thought, you beauty, do you know what I mean? Like, you're doing the right things, Robert. You know, you moved away from home, you were sort of 19, you went down there all on your own. I had a kid back home, and my missus and my wife who I'm with just now. It was a test as such, you know. Can you cope down there? Can you do the sort of the big boys playground and go down there and make a name for yourself? And one thing that was firmly in my head, I did not want to combat a failure through any fault of my own, you know. Any Scotsman that leaves home, he always leaves home to better himself, and that's what I say all the time, and that's the truth, you know. You get sort of one chance to dance, and I grabbed that chance, because when you've got the likes of Eddie Gray and Lorimer and stuff, you know, putting their arm around you, and you need to
extended a welcome to you.
Unbelievable, honestly. Yeah. You would not even imagine, and just even that, I phoned my old man, you wouldn't even believe who I spoke to today, and these type of guys, and even all the old legends run about in match day, and I'll be honest with you, it was probably that was the making of me, that club, you know. They turned me into a man. They gave me everything. I left there as captain. It was one of the hardest decisions I had to make, still to this day.
You made me think that, you know, I knew from the way you introduced it, talking about John Robertson, that obviously Gary had been worried that you might be a bad boy.
Yeah.
Whether behaviour or attitude or whatever it was.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then the first thing he hears from you is, no, I'm not coming down for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So that would have, in normal life, not in that conversation, that would have emphasised the person's preconception.
Yes.
So for Gary to go, no, I need him anyway,
yeah.
Even though that phone call seems to reinforce what I've been told.
Yeah.
Either he absolutely loved your skills, or he's a very brave man who went, like, bollocks to what I've heard, I'm just going to bet on this guy.
That's it. That's what I believe it is. I think he took a risk, and he'd probably seen a lot of himself in certain situations and thought, you know, why not? Give the kid a chance. What have I got to lose? It wasn't a lot of money. I was on peanuts going there.
But we've talked about how ruthless this sport is.
Of course.
I mean, brutally ruthless.
Yeah, of course.
So the easiest thing for him to have done would have been, no, find somebody else.
Yeah, no, listen, and
it's a big thing he did. I think.
Gary Mack left sort of
didn't go well,
4 months into the job, and I think that season I scored 11, I got 19 assists, so I was involved in 30 goals, and that for me, going down there as an unknown to them, singing your name, you see them with Snodgrass jerseys and different things, that a sort of a massive club, you know what I mean, a giant of a club. Don't get me wrong, you say it yourself, sorry, you go League One or Sleeping Giants, but they were still 30-odd thousand every week, and then some of the bigger games, Boxing Day against Leicester, I scored the last minute goal to get a draw, and it took us in that sort of that playoff, and it was like 40-something thousand, it was incredible, you know.
And you left them with a playoff semi-final and then going up.
Yeah.
You left them in the championship, you did them a turn.
Yeah.
And it's a good legacy to have left. You've mentioned the guests we've had on this show, because we've had Gary Mack, and you played with Sean Maloney, he's been on this. You played with Andy Robertson, eventually he's been on this. But like one of the ones that we've had and really enjoyed is Millie, James Milner.
Yes.
And he's got an inkling that one day he'll maybe go back to play at Leeds, once he's won another couple of Champions Leagues, of course.
Yes.
Could you see yourself back at, let's say, hypothetically, West Ham all the way now, contract respected, just talking about hypothesis, Leeds somehow come up this season.
Yeah.
And say in a year or two, you're like, I could finish off at Leeds in the Premier League. Do
you know what? It would be a fantastic story. It would be a great story to kind of go back there and different things. It's one of those situations where you never know in football. You know, who would have ever said I'd have been back at West Ham after the first few months? And the relationship I've got there with those fans is sensational. It's sort of close.
But you're what they crave.
I think in football terms, and I just think if you appreciate what a fan goes through on a day-to-day basis in terms of the travel, the accommodation and away games, kids you need to take. Every week we would love to see somebody make 25 passes and a goal. There you go, brilliant. up the road, you know, my team's flying. Sometimes that's not a problem. Sometimes you go through sort of situations that, you know, we're going through now. Well, it isn't that, you know, it isn't like 25 passes in a goal. It's more than that. It's, you know, can you look yourself in the mirror at the end of the game and say, every single bit of effort I had went on that part today. Don't come off with any sort of regret. Nothing. And I know you've been taught that since you were a young kid, but there's a difference between saying it and doing it, you know, and that's one thing I've always tried to do. Have I been good enough on certain occasions? Definitely not, but I'll be the first one to put my hands up and again and say, lads, listen, I wasn't anywhere near my best today, but nobody will ever question my attitude or my work rate or desire or anything like that. And I've had that since I've been a young kid. No matter what I've got into it, I've always tried to give my all. The biggest thing in football for me now is facing your teammate and saying to him, listen, you bailed me out there. You know, this is why we're part of your team in my eyes.
When you see a group of sportsmen or women, all for one for all, they genuinely are, not just saying it, it's uplifting.
Of course.
And you believe you can turn any corner, that you can, if you're down, you can come up, if you're up there, you can win. That unity, when a manager can bring it out, when the players have got character, is something, because 180 degrees from what you've just been describing, I'm not going to draw you into Mesut Ozil. I'm going to say, one of the things that drives people mental about, and I've seen them actually in the tunnel after games and at training grounds, and his temper and his aggressiveness and his competitiveness are all there. But when he's playing, people have a perception that his skill level is ultra, but the very things you've been talking about, have you left it all out there? Have you given absolutely everything? People don't believe that's the case.
I've seen the Arsenal fans do that. The biggest thing is these players are different from the people see it as if you've got your workhorses in the team, but you need your number.
But hold on. Because of the level of discussion
that's what people see.
You get both.
Yeah. No, listen.
You're born with a certain vision, creativity, talent that not every footballer has, even at Premier League level. Just have. But that exposition you had about, I know, here's my character, here's what I pledge is my basic minimum. 100%. Not saying it, doing it all the time. That mix. You know, there's no way anybody would say, because Robert Snodgrass works hard, he's one of our workhorses. Nobody's ever said that.
But the thing is, Graham, for me, is once it's not going well, you need to do the other side of the game.
Double.
Now, if you're not creating goals and scoring goals, then they'll look at your all-round game and say, right, well, you're not getting us anything. You're not working hard for the team, and you're not bringing assists and goals. So if you're match winners, they need to be match winners. They need to be creating goals and scoring goals no matter what level you're playing at. That's the reason why the coach maybe gives you a little bit of leeway more than anything. And listen, I've been stuck between are you a grafter or are you that number 10, because I played number 10 for Scotland, played number 10 for Norwich on certain occasions, played number 10 for Hull on certain occasions, and listen, I've always been one that I'll try and give everything for the team, and it goes well and score goals, great. If I don't, then I've put in my level of performance that my teammates will respect.
We've got good sponsors, Bet365, who keep us alive. They ask 2 questions. They say, and you can categorise this any way you feel, who's the best manager you've played for whatever reason?
Different managers bring different qualities, in my opinion. For me, Gordon Strachan was getting it right at Scotland. When I was there, he was doing things the right way. Did he probably leave too soon? I think definitely. And I think if he would have kept on going the way he was going when I first came in, I felt as if, you know, we were making progress, and I felt as if he was trying to step outside the box for the sort of Scotland way and sort of playing 4-5-1, sit behind the ball, and the one that's probably grinding results out, 1-0 victories, Italy, France, different things like that. You know, with moments of quality for McFadden, or last minute headers for Steve McManus or Caldwell, or different things like that. And I genuinely think that he was a great manager. I think he could have stepped, Scotland in the right direction if he'd have stayed on.
Bet365 also want to know, what's the best goal you've scored in your career so far?
The best goal I've scored, probably say the Premier League goal I scored. I've reversed it. It wasn't my favourite goal, but up until when I actually sat and thought about it, the West Ham game where we beat Palace, no any sort of taking any playoffs or anything like that. It was just that it was a feeling where I'd scored that first Premier League goal for West Ham, where it was a special feeling. It was a magnificent feeling where I didn't think I would be in this situation again at this club. and then to turn things around, then to score that goal, it just shows you that, you know, if you stick to what you believe in, you stick to your morals and a drive and ambition to take one step back, to take 2 steps forward. I felt as if I'd done that in my career at that point.
Top goals. I'm sad it wasn't the winner against Croatia, who you seem to have something personal against, because like some of the best results Scotland have had in recent years is beating a squad that eventually would go on and be runners-up in the World Cup, 4 years later. Yeah. But you got the winner, in the away game, am I right? Or?
They won on the away game, and then me and Stephen Naismith scored in the home game. We beat them 2-0.
Big scalps to take that.
Convincingly. Just that sort of feeling alone. I think the game before that, I get sent off, so I owed the team one. We were beating Wales 1-0, and I made a couple of tackles and I get sent off. Probably first or second time in my career I've been sent off. And then I said, well, you know, I owe the boys one, you know, to get the winner, and that feeling.
You think like that, so let's say you've had a bad game or you've been sent off or whatever, you actually think, I've got to equalise, Of course you do. Listen, even if the team don't see it like that, I seen it like that, okay. You know, it's you know, I owe them one, and you know, I cost them. And after that game against Wales, where they came back and beat us, they scored the penalty, and then they came back, they obviously were down to 10 men. That was the red card game against Wales.
That's only a certain amount of times I've been emotional. I couldn't stop crying after that game. I felt as if, you know, I let the lads down, and Strachan pulled me and he was like, what are you doing? What are you crying for? He says, in that game, you were the one that was wanting the show for the ball. He says, we never played well that night. You were one of the bright sparks. He said, I tell you if you're rubbish, I tell you if you're good. And I'm telling you were good. He says, so don't worry about it. You play next game and you've got to prove yourself. And that's why, you know, because after that, you know, I felt I've let my family, I've let the country, all that stuff, you know, you take home with you. And I thought, no, have some bollocks and puff your chest out, and let's see what you're about away to Croatia, and getting the winner was a special feeling. It's
a nice way to add to your explanation about Strachan, because that's a good message, and he was giving you a real message. He wasn't just kidology about like, I'll cheer you up.
Yep.
He was telling you the truth.
Yep,
and it hit home.
Yeah, of course.
That's big.
Every single time I'm pranking anybody on the phone, listen, I'll be honest with you, you say I'm a bad lad, I'm honestly easily led, right? Because everybody goes...
A big boy phoned him and ran away, is that right?
Oh, listen, Snods, I've got this guy here, I want you to phone him. And I'm like, give the number. I'm not even hesitating, just give me the number and I'll think of a story in my head at the time. So I says, let's go. So his dad at the time was quite successful, and he ran a lot of events and different things, you know. So we rang him up, me and Scott, and this was a daily thing. This happened every single day, and I thought, I didn't care who I was hurting in the process. I thought, I need to laugh. I love laughing, so I thought, and I don't want to stop. So I thought, let's do it. And phoned him up, and he says, how you doing, Scott? Events team or whatever. We want to bring Sugar Ray Leonard to the events with your dad and all that stuff, you know. So he's come in hook, line, sinker, thinking Sugar Ray Leonard is coming to Perth. He's Sugar Ray's coming to Perth. So we're thinking to ourselves. So we had him hook, line, sinker, and we says for another fee with you and your old man or whatever it was, we says we'll get Mike Tyson there as well. So he's went for his one phone call thinking Sugar Ray's coming, Mike Tyson's coming. And he's getting a one-on-one with Mike Tyson, and it was just, you know, just like creating that in your head. It was amazing, and we went through that was just the start. We went through the gears, you know. But Jimmy Bullard done him as well. I said to Jimmy, he was going on Sky Sports Game Changers when he came out the jungle, and he was getting up and he was dressing up as a big furry bear because he had an argument in the jungle with one of the lads in there. And everybody online, I think, was calling him a big bully. So saying, Jimmy, you're a bully, you know, the kid's younger and all that stuff. So I phoned him. And this, again, was somebody else, and somebody went, listen, I've got Jimmy Bullard's number here. Do you want to ring him? Give his number. Give me it. I'll ring him. So there we go. I rang him. And I says, Jimmy, I says, listen. I says, it's... how you doing, Jim? It's Ian Jenkins here. How are you? and he's in. He is hook, line, sinker. And... he goes, oh, mate, what can I do for you? And I says, and I says to him, I says, listen, we want you to dress up as a big furry bear, come out in Sky Sports Game Changers. And he goes, well, I'm not saying no to that. He says, but have you got any consecutive work? I says, well, there's loads of different animals you can dress up as. And I'm no joking. I was sitting watching the boxing. It was I think it was Tommy Coyle against Luke Campbell. It was like the Battle of Hull basically. So Jimmy must have been watching this because he used to play with Hull, and he's seen me on the TV, and he's seen obviously his mate is there as well. Do you know what I mean? So we're in the crowd. So just random, this boy turns around and goes, "That's for Jimmy Bullard," and I'm like that. So reads a message out. He goes, "You Scottish, I'm coming for you." He says, "You want me to dress up as a big furry bear?" I'm like, "Oh, brilliant." Do you know what I mean? What is the chances of him here? Like, you know what I mean? So random.
How's he figured it?
Because somebody told him, like in the company or something like that, he says, "Oh, do you want to ring him or something like that?" And I thought, honestly, absolutely amazing. But some of the things we've done the boy Nick Montgomery for Sheffield United. Played many times in the Premier League for Sheffield United. We're sitting there with all the lads were away. Leeds, and Lee Bromby turns to me, he goes, "I used to play with Nick Montgomery." He says, "Oh, desperate to get called up for Scotland." And I goes, I says, "Would you want me to ring him? Let's go." So then, here we go. I've rang Nick Montgomery. He's played for the under-21s, and I've went, "Nick, how you doing? It's Richard Simpson here for SFA in Glasgow." And he goes, and his reply was brilliant. He goes, "Richard, I've been waiting for you phoning for the last 4 years." And I thought, you beauty.
Done already.
So I've done that. I says, "Nick, that's the attitude we want here. That's exactly what it's all about." I says, "Do me a favour, go and tell me what size of suit you are." And he goes, "I'm a 40." He goes, "I'm a 40 regular." And I says, "Brilliant." So I says, "What size of tie are you?" Like, I swear to God, right? And I sees him, honestly, I can hear his feet running up the stairs. And he's halfway up and he goes, "Size of tie?" And I goes, "With your build, you're probably a medium, right?" I says, and that was it. That was it. I thought, perfect. So he's got his agent, he got this in the paper. Nick Montgomery gets called up for Scotland. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, how has this escalated into sitting? So he phones up, let's say this, I'm not joking you. He phones up Lee Bromby, he goes, "Lee, I've heard through contacts, Robert Snodgrass has prank phone called me." He says, "If I find that this is true, I'm going to go off my fucking head," right? And I'm like that. I says, "Well," I says, "Lee, listen," I says, "if you want me to talk to him," I says, "I'll say to him, listen mate, it was only a bit of banter, whatever, you know, we'll just have a laugh with it, you know what I mean?" But no, his mum wasn't keeping too good, and she always wanted him to get for Scotland. So Lee Bromby went, "Yeah, Snods went in my phone."
No!
He's put me in the shit, and I'm thinking, "Broms, why have you done this?" I seen him months and months later, and it turns out he stayed round the corner for me when I was from in Leeds. I didn't even know, you know. And I seen him, we shook hands and a big hug and all that stuff, and he was just like, "Oh, listen, mate, it was the time where my mum, she wasn't keeping too good, and that's why it hurt him." Do you know what I mean? And I thought, that's me. I'm going into pranky rehab. I'm off the prank calls, no more. Dusted it, and I put the phone away, and I went, "That's it. I'm done." And then since then, I've only come out on special occasions, but I'll keep it for another time. We had Darren D, and he was a big influence in sort of those young lads' careers. Him, Charlie McGrew, and Charlie Grant, Michael McGlinchey, all the lads I played at Scotland with, you know. And Darren D tells a great story about Tommy Burns. He says, you know, God rest his soul, he's what a man he was. And he says that he's telling the lads the story, and he goes, he just dropped Paul Hartley. And the I think it was for the Champions League night. It was a game midweek. Zico was fuming. The lads are saying, and he says to Gordon, says to Tommy Burns, "Go and have a word with Zico." And he goes, "Me? You've dropped him? How am I having a word with him?" And he says,
"It's not bad, Tommy."
He says, "How am I having a word with him?" So he goes, Zico. He says, he says, "Listen," he says, "the gaffer, you know, drove me, you know, but the gaffer's sick." And he's went like that. "The gaffer's sick?" Tommy Burns went, "Aye, sick of watching you play shite every week." Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
In you come. There you go.
Take that, uppercut, brilliant. And I thought, what a man, do you know what I mean? And it was, he was for, just stayed down the road from me. He was in Calton and I was in Gallowgate, which was St Mary's and St Anne's, just you know, stone throw away for each other. And you know what sort of he done in his name. He's just a legend.
He's a brilliant man, and I remember I was in Spain watching his funeral, and I was really touched in a city like we were talking about, where everybody knew how close he and Walter were, and everybody knew how much damage Walter's Rangers had done to Tommy's Celtic career, because it was always Gorman McCoist, and you know, when Walter spoke at the funeral and was so central to it, it was a beautiful image, and it represented how important Tommy was as a man. Liam Young, one of our socios, says, has Robert ever been close to playing abroad? Or, if you had your time again, would you do so?
Yes.
Liam says that he feels that more players, Scots, playing across Europe would benefit the Scotland national team.
Yeah, he's spot on, and I think learning a different culture on the way they think of the game, the way they study it. And yes, I would have liked to have played abroad. I'd have loved to have done it just to experience it. And I think I had a chance after an under 17 or 18 tournament in Scotland. It was Real
Valladolid, currently owned by Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He's their president.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, okay. Well, that was the thing. Obviously, came out about the Barcelona thing. I don't know if you obviously seen it like that. It was, and that was exactly right after that tournament. So it was Vivian Kyles at the time called me up and she says, "Listen, there's 2 inquiries from Real Valladolid and Barcelona. They want you to go on trial." And I said, where the hell's that came from? I wasn't even playing at Livingston at the time. Vivian Kyles, she was the chief executive at the time at Livingston, you know. So she brought me up and she was like, "Robert's a great chance," and I was like, "Listen, I'm definitely there, you know what I mean? I'll go and see what I can do or whatever." And listen, that was the hardest part, was nothing ever materialised out of that. And you know, again as a young kid, you know, even just to get mentioned in the same breath, it was amazing. But it's something I've had to answer throughout my career. That I
wasn't going to ask that, because we've seen how many times you had to say, "Look, I don't really know.
I don't know about it," and that's
Liam's point, I think, was about your ambitions. We didn't know about Valladolid, for example. And I imagine, given what we talked about off mic, your love of La Liga, and also your brand of, you know, the ball is your friend. We winding down, because I have to let you back to your London life, your beautiful London life. But I don't want to stop without giving you a choice, because I'd like to. This is a beautiful occasion for us. It's really important. We've had some laughs. You're witty and sharp and you know, a great character, but you're living the privileged life that we all wish we'd been able to do. Not the money and the fame, but playing football for a living. Yes. Either we could talk a bit technically about how you see spaces, how you use your left foot, when you bend a shot in, whether it's a free kick or on the run. We could do a little technical thing. Or I'm interested also, as a separate thing, letting people know about the Premier League, what it's like, the things that we don't see, because it's really well packaged and it's put up all there in its shiny casing and all that. But we don't know about where are the bad dressing rooms, where are the good dressing rooms, where's the friendliest club, who gives you a beautiful welcome, which fans are still not corporate and prawn sandwich, but still a little bit in your face. The things that right now, other than representing your club well, putting your wage in the bank and making the best of yourself as a footballer, make you get up on a wet Wednesday in March to say, Saturday we're going there, and that's what I like about that, the smell of that ground, or the arrive in the stadium, the other coach, the jip I know I'm going to get from the right back. Do we go on the character of the Premier League to finish off, or do we go on the technique of your ability, your choice?
Listen, I'm going to try and mix both of them in. The biggest thing I always wanted to do when I was playing was try and go through the gears, or sort of saying, right, well, you know, you go through League One, or you play in all the different levels, and you get to the Premier League and you go, this is where the big boys are at, you know, and you sort of say to yourself, right, Rob, you go with the flow, you maybe get a chance, let it pass you by, but to say, oh, you've played in the Premier League. But for me, it was something different, you know. I just felt as if you came up against, you know, your top players, your Steven Gerrards. You see him, you see Gareth Bale, you know, sort of the big names, and you say to yourself, Jesus, you know, these boys are, you know, they're at the very top in their game. But in that team that they're playing, that people don't realise, every single person in that team are top players, but doing their jobs to make those guys are what they are, if that makes sense, you know. And they do that a little bit different, and I thought, well, God, listen, you can float by and you can play the game, whatever it was. I just thought, I have to do something different, you know. I need to be, you somebody gets on the set pieces and tries to shoot for angles or do something different. I started to add things into my game where it was nutrition. How can I then get my body fat really low? How can I get my mental focus on saying, how can I get sort of 5 to 10 goals? Then you start comparing yourself with these lads and going, how can I then try and be like them? Don't get me wrong, you'll never ever get like them, but when I got my move to Hull, I was one of the high school midfielders, and I came back for a 16-month injury at that point, which a lot of people probably won't know still, probably to this day, but yeah, I did, and that surgeon told me that day, Robert, if you get back to any sort of level, you've done well. And I thought your roots kind of come back in at that point, and you go, and I looked at him and I thought, that's what you're telling everybody. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to get back to a level, and I'm going to push on, and I'm going to get to the heights of the Premier League. Because I'll be honest, that season I was in the Premier League. I played 25 minutes in the game, got relegated that season, played 25 minutes. My dad's 70th birthday, had a party organised for him. Remember it as if it was yesterday. And that feeling to somebody say to you, you're out for 6 months, to then say to you, no, you're out for 16 months, and you're probably not going to play at any sort of level. That feeling is what a lot of the lads speak about mental health right now and different things.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst feelings that you could go through.
Lonely.
What do you do? Sink or swim? Do you feel sorry for yourself? Hit the drink? Do what you need to do? I never touched a drop of alcohol for 2 years, and I thought, right, if you're not going to come back, again, comes back to your roots, don't be like any fault of your own. Go, puff your chest out and try and be the best person you can be, and lead by example to every one of your teammates who are going through injury at the exact same time. Do everything you can possibly do. You're getting home at 7 o'clock at night, you've got your kids there, you're leaving the swimming pool stinking of chlorine, different things, and you know it needs to start all over again in the morning. You get through the full season, get relegated, no kicked a ball. I remember in the changing room, the lads down all over the place, and I went, well, cheers, you bunch of cunts. I said, I've just got a 50% deduction of my wage. I said, because of you last season, every one of the lads were laughing and thought, fuck me, that guy is just, he's just took a massive hit. And then the next day, they were away on holiday and I had to go down.
Back to work, back
to the everyday graft way, sort of get myself fit, not knowing if I'm going to come back again. But everything that was in my head, I had a sniff of the Premier League, but I always thought, what would they top boys do? What would they do, And then you get a taste of it where you just say there about going to football grounds and seeing the crowd, you can smell the hot dogs, you can smell the pies, and those different feelings where it's such, listen, it is what it is, but it's something different about match day, and it's that drive and that focus. Everybody, the training every day, the lads will tell you, it's you come in, you have a bit of banter, you have a laugh, and when lads have made their money and have done their appearances, what gives you that drive inside? It's you. It's you. You've got to keep the drive inside. I've played nearly 600 games in my career. I've went through the gears that I would say that I feel as if learning the game, studying the game, learning about nutrition, sleep, rest, every single thing you can think of, you can look, but you can only be the best version of yourself. And that's where I feel as if I did max my career up until now, and I can look at you in the eye and say to you, I'm still doing that. I'm still driving to be a better player. I'm still driving to be a better teammate. I'm still driving to focus on everyday life, on how I can be a better dad. Do you know what I mean? Something so small where you do think about different things, and you do think about how you can affect a young lad where he's maybe watching you in the gym and saying, I'm practicing shooting every day. That's what I'm still doing at nearly turning 33. And at this moment in time, in our team at 33, I've got the most assists and goals. So listen, and I never played sort of the first 10, 12 games. Am I blowing smoke? Yes, I am, because I take great pride in that, because I want to be the best version I can be. It shows I'm doing the right things. So for me, I'll never get to the heights that these boys have got to, but listen, I can only be the best version of myself, and I hope that's answered a lot of your questions.
He's answered it brilliantly, and what I want to know, because you deserve to remember it, is that you'd been back about maybe 6-7 games before you played Charlton at home.
6-0 or 6-1.
Abel Hernandez scored 33 minutes in. Don't know what Sam Clucas's assist was like, but the scoreboard said Robert Snodgrass 6-0 win. playing must have been the big thing, but when you get that first goal back for the club and you've had that lonely, hard 16 months where you talked about mental health, you've got to dig deep into things that probably nobody at this table or listening, possibly most people can't understand, not just don't understand, and then you're back and you score.
Yeah.
Different feelings, same as ever?
No, it was
that moment?
I think I can't even describe it. It's a surreal feeling. I missed football like you wouldn't believe when I was at the game. I missed it. It's something it made me happy when I was a young boy. It made me happy all the way through careers. I sort of up and down family life. It was football that was a release. Football was everything, and it gets took away from you. And to be honest with you, I was sad. People speak about, oh, you footballers, you're earning money. Who cares? Who cares? Keep it. Do what you want with it. As soon as it's took away from you, that's how long time retired. And it's that feeling there it's quite unexplainable, really. Where you think you never get told you're not going to play again, and then to say no, that's what other people might be doing, but I'm playing again. I'm going to show, and I'm going to get. And as soon as I scored that goal, I thought, I cannot wait to score the next one, to do what I need to do and just go through the gears. And that season we got promoted at Wembley, and my family hadn't seen a lot of my games, and it was Randy Robertson's family and my family were in a box together. So that feeling to go up, and my mum and dad's, obviously my mum's turning 70, my dad's 75, and just to see the sheer joy in their face, not to say anything to say, oh, you're playing in front of a big crowd or anything like that, just to see one of the family from the streets of Glasgow, the boys, he's went and done it. You know what I mean? He's went and he's had rejection, but he's come back. He's had failure, he's come back, and that there is that's the thing that make or break you as a footballer, I believe, and that's what, for me, that those sort of moments there is why you keep playing the game.
Can you name your mum and dad? They're Christian names, so...
No, my dad's called Stephen Snodgrass, my mum's called Irene Snodgrass, and they came from big families, so we always had uncles and aunties around the house and different things, and my mum's the only one left in her family. That's it's a special feeling for me, and I left at 19-year-old. I know it's not the other side of the world, but giving up that everyday interaction with your family, that is a tough feeling. But what's it for? To go and live your dream.
Earlier on, we had a question, a sponsor's question about your best manager ever, and you answered it brilliantly, because you picked on things from Strachan and you said something from everyone, and they're all different. But a real friend of this show, Steve Bruce, we've had Alex on it, Steve's coming up, and I've told you as well that Steve was a guy who helped me massively in my career. When you worked for him, was it fortunate that in maybe the worst part of your professional career, when you get this brutal injury, was it fortunate that he was your gaffer?
Yeah, I think, I think at that moment in time, let's just say if it was a manager's first job, just say, and he maybe no experience how to deal with that. Maybe you don't learn that in your B licence or your A licence or your pro licence.
You have to live it. You have to go through it. Of course,
you have to live it. And he went through it as a player. He was just one of the guys. He was a proper man's man. He got what it meant to sort of go through the good times and the bad times. And as you just spoke about there, that one of the toughest points for me was that long-term injury, and he got me through. He nurtured me through it. He was speaking to me through it. He was such an influential part in my career. He signed me. He took me to Aston Villa. I've remained sort of close to him ever since, and you speak about the best manager, the all-round manager. I'd have to say him. I'd need to say him because he brought every single thing along the way in terms of what it meant. He gets the game. He understands it. Yeah. He's played the game in and out, and he took me sort of 46 months into the rehab, and he pulled me and he says, "Listen," he says, "you don't need to be here." He says, "You don't need to be in here every day. Go back to Scotland, see your family." And I thought, I'd never ever experienced this, you know what I mean? He just put his arm around me at the right time.
Spotted that you were driving yourself to the limit, to driving yourself crazy because of how hard you were working.
Yeah.
To shorten a period that was going to have to be 16 months anyway. And you were in boredom, I suppose,
yes.
Repetition.
Yes, of course.
Being bugged by people saying, how's it going?
Yeah.
Fuck off and leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why he wanted to take you out of that environment for
he took me
a
away.
break?
Yeah, he took me away. And he knew how, because he's a proper family man, so he knew how special it was to kind of be around them sort of through difficult times, which he'd probably experienced throughout his career.
You used the time he gave you well, didn't you?
Of course I did, but the thing is as well, obviously a lot of people, he lost his mum and dad at the time of Aston Villa. He was going through a lot of sort of health stuff himself, and it just shows the character of the guy, you know, what he's going through, and he's still trying to save all the lads were all right, you know, focusing for the match on a Saturday, you know, and just sitting with him and I just probably asked him one day, you know, how are you? You know, you're asking how are we all the time, how you coping, you know what I mean? And it was just a sort of typical reaction that I would have had if it was me, you know. He was quite sort of emotional, and listen, that just sort of sums him up. He's human like everybody else, and what a hell of a job he's doing at sort of Newcastle just now, when everybody went against him, and for such a good job Rafa Benitez done before. But you know, it's the man he is that sort of the lads would respect up there, and the fans and stuff, and he's doing a great job, and I wish him well.
I think sometimes life, if you live it to the maximum of your ability, sends you good people.
Yeah, of course.
And life sent you a good person.
Yes,
there.
of course.
Nice to be able to say it on the big interview, because you know, we'll take a little musical break in a second or two, but we formed this podcast to be able to teach people that the ridiculous misinterpretation and pigeonholing of footballers and football coaches, where they're all flash, they're all shooting. The whole purpose of this was to bring out the goodness and the wit and the talent and the resilience and the character of the football people we know.
Yep.
So you've helped us do that. I thought we would enjoy this. I'll stop now by saying I'm proud to know you. I mean, it's been fun. It's been funny. I know you can change gears in how you talk and go into different alleyways, but hearing that is, you know, it touches you. And my respect for not only using your talent and being where you are, but having come through that is gigantic. And I'll bet you everybody listening feels the same way, Rob. So thanks for your generosity.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers.